Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, and welcome back to the ultimate Space Quest playthrough series. And today we're gonna start on Space Quest 6, The Spinal Frontier. Yes, this is in fact the original jewel case for the game. It's quite disparagingly empty, sadly. I have no idea where the disc has actually gotten to, but the good thing is this game is on GOG, so I don't have to track down the CD for this. Actually, I also have the original game box here, and it was signed by Scott Murphy, asking me if I got in trouble for a phone call. Now, the phone call in question was when I was 17 or 18, somewhere thereabouts. I actually phoned up Scott Murphy long distance and had a 2-hour chat, and might have forgotten or neglected to tell my parents that I was doing that, so yay, rebel. Anyway, the history of Space Quest 6 is sadly a bit of a convoluted one. It says on the back here that it was a standout solo effort by Scott Murphy, one of the formerly of the hip comedy duo The Two Guys from Andromeda. Now, in actuality, what happened was that after Space Quest 4, Josh Mandel and Bruce Belfour, I believe, he ended up doing what's that thing? The strategy game, Outpost. That's the one. Those two guys came up with a lot of pitches for future Space Quest games because Scott Murphy and Mark Crow had said, you know, look guys, we're done. Space Quest, it's over. Space Quest 4 was our magnum opus. You can all just fuck off. And Mark Crow did indeed fuck off to Oregon, where he joined Dynamics. And so Josh Mandel, Bruce Belfour came up with a lot of pitches for what was to be Space Quest 5 back in Oakhurst, California, the seat of Sierra Online, where Space Quests 1 through 4 had been created and developed and released and loved by many. Also, the rest of the world, but they were created there in Oakhurst. And it looked like Josh Mandel was going to do Space Quest 5. One of the pitches was actually what ended up being the plot to this game, Space Quest 6. But sort of on a last-minute whim, Ken Williams, president of Sierra Online, said, oh, hey, look, Dynamics, they're doing adventure games down in Oregon. They've done Rise of the Dragon, and they've done Heart of China and such. You know what, if those guys want to do adventure games, they should do it in our system, what do you call it, game development engine, SCI, Sierra's Creative Interpreter. And I think I mentioned this in the Space Quest 5 intro. Space Quest 5 ended up being the litmus test for Dynamics, if they could create adventure games in Sierra's game engine. So Josh Mandel is suddenly back in Oakhurst going, I thought I was doing that. But guess not. So Space Quest 5 happens, and is actually very well received. And still is. I make no bones about that. It is a fantastic game. I thought I said that many times. But then, of course, it's time for Space Quest 6. And once again, Josh Mandel throws his hat in the ring, and Ken Williams says, all right, it's your turn now, buddy boy. Let's see what you can come up with. So Josh sets out to design and create and write Space Quest 6, The Spinal Frontier, and gets about halfway through the process. The design document is done, half of the writing is done, the artwork is underway, and he gets into a major tiff with Sierra, to the point where he up and quits, right in the middle of making Space Quest 6. Now, at this point, Scott Murphy had been tangentially involved, I guess, in a sort of consultant fashion, because he was a programmer on Police Quest 4, and that thing went way over time, way over budget, so he wasn't involved in a big way, but you know, he did have some ping pong with Josh Mandel over the design and such. So he was in more of a consulting, executive consultant fashion kind of thing. But when Josh left, suddenly the whole project fell on him, Scott Murphy, to finish the game. And I think it's safe to say he wasn't particularly enamored with the idea. I mean, working on Space Quest, of course, it's his baby and all, but I mean, after Space Quest 4, the two guys were pretty sick of working on Space Quest, because right after one was released, they were told to get started on another one, and then that was released and to start on another one. They were kind of getting a bit burned out on it, and that's why Space Quest 4 has the dark tone that it has. So, Scott Murphy is now stuck with Space Quest 6 and has to finish it. So Space Quest 6 has some, let's say, incongruities, where some of the areas that were clearly written by Josh Mandel has all the things that I keep lauding him for, which is that you can click on absolutely anything with every cursor and every inventory item. You get a different description every time. And then there are some areas that were written by Scott Murphy where there are a lot of funny lines and they go on for a very long time, but it doesn't have the same absurd level of interactivity that Josh likes to put in his games. So it's kind of a mishmash. Some of the areas are darkly funny, the only way that Scott Murphy can make them, and some are very Josh Mandelian. Furthermore, the art style kind of went all over the place, because the backgrounds were hand-drawn on the computer. Some were 3D rendered, there are some 3D rendered cutscenes, all the animation was hand-drawn in a very cartoony style, sort of Space Quest 5-ish, and it all sort of blends together in a strange mishmash. It's like 3 different art styles colliding. Bottom line, Space Quest 6 is a weird game, but I do have sort of an affinity for it because you can tell there's a great game struggling to get out of what was a very difficult process. Also, the game went through like 3 different executive producers, none of which really knew what they were doing, according to inside sources. So yeah, it's a miracle this fucking thing came out at all. But I am excited to play it because it's been a long-ass time since I've played it, and I'm also excited for the wrap-up of this game because not only is the game, it's pretty long actually for a Space Quest game, certainly very long. It's fully voiced once again, Gary Owens returns as the narrator, and there are some very interesting things hiding on the disc. Let's just pretend there actually is a disc in this thing. There's some very interesting things hiding on this disc. I'll point some of them out when we play the game, like, oh, this was supposed to be an inventory item at one point. It's actually in the resource files. And then in the last episode of Space Quest 6 on this channel here, we'll take a look at some of the things that are hiding just outside of view that you don't get to see when you play the game. Some voice clips of Gary Owens are hiding in there. Like I said, some inventory items that weren't supposed to be there. Even a background from King's Quest 7, I believe, is hiding on the disc somewhere. No one fucking knows why, but it's there. So anyway, without further ado, and before we get into playing the game, let's just check in for, sadly, the last time with my pal Danny.
Good day. This is Dan Abadan, Danny Sexbang, and I am here to introduce the Space Quest Historians playthrough of Space Quest 6. An interesting one in the series. I wouldn't say my favorite, but there's a lot of great stuff in there. It's a different kind of game. By this point, I think it was 1995, 96, something like that. There had been great advancements in video games. The gaming world was changing. Things like Doom and I don't know if Quake had come out, but first-person shooters were definitely like taking over the world a little bit. Adventure games probably weren't at their peak. They were a little bit on the downswing of in terms of sales, not in terms of quality. There was a lot of great stuff going on. But you could kind of feel the world changing around Space Quest in this game somehow. Maybe that's just something I'm mentally putting on it, you know, having known what was going on at the time. But for this one, Mark Crow wasn't involved. Scott Murphy was involved to some degree, and they brought a new guy in, Josh Mandel, who did a great job, you know, very funny dude. But I'd say it's... I think this was a tough one for me to swallow at the beginning, just because it felt like all the other Space Quests had been building a world a little bit that had really become fleshed out in the 5th one. You had Roger Wilco, you had Beatrice, his love, and his crew, Drool, Flo, and Cliffy, and Spike, his little gross face hugger pet, and that and he had also ascended to the rank of a captain, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then it all just kind of got washed away at the beginning of this one, which was weird for me, but over time I grew to appreciate this game a lot more. And once I got over that, I mean, what are you gonna do? It kind of I kind of learned to love this game a lot more. It introduces a new possible love interest. I guess they never really say it outright, but Stellar, and she's a cool character, and Captain Lion guy whose name I can't remember, but he's great. Like there's a lot of cool stuff in this game. And Gary Owens comes back, which is he does a wonderful job as always. And look out for one of my favorite jokes ever in any Space Quest game, which is the name of the alien starts with a D in the video arcade. It's such a dumb little joke, but it always cracked me up so much. And yeah, this ended up being the last Space Quest game to date. There were many years of possible Space Quest 7 rumors and near misses. And who knows? Life is long. It could happen, but it looks as though this might be the last one in the series after 20-something years. And but it's a wonderful addition to the series. There's not a bad game in the Space Quest series, in my opinion. And I hope you enjoy this playthrough. Good for you, trolls, for doing this. You're helping to keep all these wonderful games alive. And yes, I hope you enjoyed them, and I was happy to be along for the ride. Take it easy, everyone.
What a hell of an intro. So thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. It's been so great having Danny along. Isn't he a nice man? He's a nice man, isn't he? Great to have Danny give the introductions to this series, so I am really honored and grateful, and all of those words that evoke appreciation to my boy, Danny. Promise not to call him that again. Anyway, and I think he's also right. I think that Space Quest 6 kind of pulls an Alien 3 on the whole series. I mean, as much shit as I give Space Quest 5, at least, I mean, he's got a point. It sort of builds up to a thing that then gets sort of washed away and doesn't really go anywhere. So, yeah, so there's that too. But anyway, here we are, finally, Space Quest 6, The Spinal Frontier. I should turn the music up a bit. Hang on a bit. There we go. There we go. Actually, I don't really like this rendition of the Space Quest theme, so kind of glad that it's not as loud. It kind of does some weird things with the chord progressions, but we're not here to pick on music stuff. We're not music critics, at least not today. So let's just get in and start a new game.
The StarCon Federation has reached its decision.
Boo, says the booming voice.
Roger Wilco, please step forward.
Can do. Apparently he's wearing his heels. Ow. Maybe you should just turn on the house lights, I don't know. Slapstick humor. I have no idea what that sound effect's supposed to be.
Roger Wilco,
it's like someone's just whistling off in the corner.
The following crimes: abandoning your post, deviating from mission parameters, misuse of StarCon property.
I did save the entire galaxy, but the fuck, yeah.
Perpetrating a sequel without authorization.
Haha, snide remark.
And consorting with a female of higher rank.
How is that a crime? Really?
Do you have anything to say for yourself before we pronounce sentence?
Can't you guys take a joke?
Do you have anything intelligent to say for yourself before we pronounce sentence?
Nah. Nope.
Very well. It is the opinion of this tribunal that as punishment for your crimes against the Star Confederation, you are to be decommissioned. You are hereby stripped of the rank of captain.
And he's not fucking kidding.
You are no longer an officer of the Star Confederation.
He got buffed, didn't he?
Your enrollment at StarCon Academy is hereby terminated.
He really relishes that one. Terminated.
However...
Why would he... never mind. Still pretty buff.
Due to your successful return of the SCS Eureka, your rescue of the Goliath
Successful return of the SCS Eureka. I think we kind of
of
blew it up, didn't we?
Stains and black heel marks as well as you do.
Also, he's a shit janitor. I don't think we've ever mentioned that.
You
But
to your former post with StarCon Fleet.
actually, he might be a good janitor for all we know. He's just not very much into...
You are hereby ordered
Actually doing
to
his
resume
job.
your duties immediately as janitor second class on board the SCS Deep Ship 86.
Yeah, this is back when voice oh, hey, he disappeared. Voice processing wasn't like wasn't as advanced as you'd think. I mean, we had Centrillium Cool Edit and shit like that, which became Adobe Audition. So, anyway, this is the big 2001 A Space Odyssey reference. Tosses the jockstrap into the air and it materializes into the Deep Ship 86. Now you have to wonder why the cutscene is playing in this small little window here. That's something I should look into. It's not supposed to. It's supposed to fill the quarter of the screen. 3/4 of the screen. Anyway, let's just do some vacuuming.
Attention all hands.
Apparently he cut the power to the vacuum cleaner.
This is your commander speaking. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your fine performance during our recent
Lip-syncing.
episode, A Stitch in Time Saves Gamma 9.
Uh-huh.
So, thank you, thank you, thank you.
This fucking joke, man.
Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Also, look at this dude. He's totally Linda Blairing it, looking at the screen.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you.
As a gesture of appreciation, we're putting in for shore leave on Polysorbate 60. Enjoy yourselves, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
It shouldn't be too hard.
Kielbasa out.
Yay! I half expected someone's underwear to fly into the air.
Meanwhile, in a deserted warehouse just outside the galaxy.
Gary fucking Owens! ...3D rendered cutscenes.
I don't care how you do it, gentlemen, so long as his body is intact. Do you understand?
Yes, we got it. Yes, right. We got it. Yes, right.
Good. Now, I believe you'll find him here, on Polysorbate 60, on a shore.
Dum 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 da, shadowy figure in chair. Dum dum. Some stories about the shape of this spaceship, the Deep Ship 86. First of all, did you notice a little type below the place where it said Deep Ship 86? It says LSL6BFD. Now, LSL6, as you probably could have guessed, stands for Leisure Suit Larry 6. BFD stands for Big Fucking Deal.
Okay, I'm ready. Energize.
I'm not kidding, by the way. Josh Mandel told me that, so that is canonical. Oh, everything's back in order, isn't it? Think Tank Girl. I like that. Those are random every time you play, by the way, the marquee. Come on, Gary, you're supposed to say something.
as we join our hero, Roger Wilco. He has just been transported to the surface of Polysorbate 60 to enjoy a little shore leave. Apparently, there was a minor glitch in the process.
You think?
Well, at least you got here with all your important parts. Your hands, your mouth, and your stomach.
But the rest, waist down, is missing.
Great. Real wonderful. Nice beam job, you metallic piece of scrap.
Not sure I buy that voice.
Jeez, this is snug. Real snug. You know, it actually makes me feel kind of good. I remember when I used to wear my mom's... Well, never mind. No time for nostalgia. I've got a serious extraction problem to work out first.
That reverb, I mean, come on. Also, we're not actually missing the bottom half of us. We're actually just stuck in a hole. And, this is probably the wrong time to bring up. Did you notice that the narrator went from describing Roger as, you know, like in the third person, that we rejoin our hero Roger, and then he starts addressing Roger, you, instead of the player, you. I don't know. We're going to get into that some other time. We actually have quite a bit of time because we're supposed to wait for one of the droids here to walk by. So, so we can grab onto him. So I'm gonna just stick myself down here. Stay down here, really. Stop rambling, perhaps. Maybe that's an idea. Anyway, the whole dichotomy between the narrator suddenly addressing Roger directly instead of addressing the player directly is kind of a strange move, and one of those subtle differences that you don't really notice as you're playing a game. It's not until you go back and play like Space Quest 4 and you realize that, wait a minute, this makes it feel kind of different, especially when the narrator and Roger suddenly start having arguments with each other, which they will. In Space Quest 4, the narrator wasn't even part of, hey, dude, over here, here we go, go. There you go, you fucker! Alright, I'll wait for him to come round. You can actually grab him when he's all the way over there, but he will come around the bend here and walk past me. So anyway, it creates a strange dichotomy, because is the narrator just inside Roger's head? Like a voice in his head? Is Roger hearing voices? Or what? What role does the narrator actually have? Space Quest 6 is the only game in the series where you just go, wait, what? About that one. At least I do. And I'm probably the only one. And this is the most exciting playthrough I've done so far. This is basically just me being stuck in a hole, rambling on about, you know, meta commentary and the role of narrators in games. Fuck it, I should shut up and just grab onto this dickhead. Here you go. Thank you. Get up. Get. There we go. Thank you, good sir.
Thank you, my good man. Yikes, I hope everything came out with me.
Alright, the voices still play pretty slowly, like we saw in the demo. Every time it loads a voice file, it kind of takes a while to think about it. It's not as bad. Also, oh, that's because you can't go down here. I can, however, have a look around.
The street seems to reflect the same care and sense of community pride that the rest of the area enjoys.
Very nice. This dude.
You'd think, if indeed you did, that a guy with the skin quality of a pachyderm wouldn't have a problem with this climate.
Yeah, well, think again. So if I leave the area and come back, the cinema marquee is going to say something different. Interesting Easter egg. If you do that enough times, a marriage proposal appears. Lead programmer on the game, William Shockley, actually proposed to his then-girlfriend, Michelle, via the marquee in Space Quest 6. So at some point it'll just say, Michelle, will you marry me? And, yeah. I don't know if she actually... he must have just... It must have been a weird evening.
Don't.
Thank you. Must have been a weird evening for William to just go back and forth. No, wait, honey, it's coming up. It's coming up. Just go back and forth between this screen. Anyway, look at this.
That's an interesting piece of hardware. Your normally dim power of recollection actually recalls having seen a picture of one of these in the ship library. Get this. It's called a bike. People used to actually get on these and use their own muscles to achieve locomotion. What losers. Upon closer inspection, you notice some sort of ID card hanging on the frame.
Yay, I think we shall have the ID card. No one really knows what we need it for. Yet.
Upon grabbing the ID card, you notice the picture on it is of a rather homely-looking alien type. Guess everyone can't be as fortunate as you.
No, because we really are the epitome of buffness. Okay, we can't enter the cinema, so we're not going to. We can enter boot liquor. That one took me a while to decipher. Hashtag second language. A bootlicker as in a sycophantic person. Yeah, I had to have that one explained to me. Don't want to go in there yet because we have other things to investigate. Actually, what we're supposed to do is someone must have arranged accommodations for us. So let's go in search of accommodations, shall we? I happen to know, with my clairvoyant mind, that here's an accommodation thing. It's the Do-Beam Inn. Again, puns. And some interesting people hanging out.
Interesting. She appears to be waiting for someone. She might be one of those professional ladies your mom told you about.
Perhaps we should give her a talk.
She says, "Scrump off, you little felchmonger."
Wow. Now, I was 16 when I played this game for the first time, and that really went over my head, and kinda still continues too, although at this point I do know what felching means. If you don't, please, when you Google it, don't tell anyone that I told you. This is, by the way, my absolute favorite background animation in any game ever. I think you just missed it. It's gonna come back again. It's just this little alien dude who's, standing neck deep in water, waves at the camera, a shark comes up from behind, eats him, and it just says, "Life of Trials." So usually, whenever, someone complains to me about minor things in real life, I usually just go, "Life of Trials," and that's where it comes from. Boy, this guy's inconspicuous, isn't he?
Those are some interesting-looking dudes. Must be a couple of real losers, since they seem to be dateless. Of course, that won't be a problem for you once word gets around that you've hit the planet.
Oh, hell no.
Can you believe he actually thinks that?
And now the narrator is talking to us. So it just bugs me for some strange reason that all of a sudden, for most of the game, the narrator seems to be talking to Roger. And then he sort of turns around and talks to us, like in the olden days. No, actually, he does talk to Roger in Space Quest 4, but he does it in sort of a... he's telling us about... fuck it. I'm just... Shut up and keep playing. For instance...
It says, if you have a buckazoid, give a buckazoid. If you need a buckazoid, take a buckazoid. Not too surprisingly, it's empty.
Oh well, I thought you could pilfer some, but...
It's empty, without content, void of mass. A state you're familiar with.
Alright, enough dicking around with the surroundings. Let's just have... Hey, there it is! Life of Trials!
He seems to be ignoring you.
One of the best puzzles in the game. Absolutely, you just have to talk to him twice.
Excuse me. I'd like a room, please.
Really? I mean, really? Well, I think we got one or two for a couple of $100 buckazoids a night. In advance, you understand.
Speak up, please.
I believe I have a prepaid reservation provided me by StarCon.
You believe wrong.
I got no reservations from any StarCon. I got no reservations, period. I do a cash business. You want a room, cough out the buckazoids.
So that's, 200. Well, okay.
Sure.
200? Don't you listen, son? I said 300. That's 300 a night. And I don't include any weird pets.
So I can't bring these two guys? Oh, what a shame.
I could have sworn you said...
Yeah, well, you could have sworn a lot of things.
You calling me a liar? I don't need no guff from the likes of you. This is the finest lodging on the planet, son.
You know what? I believe him.
Prices, you can just take your sorry, pinkish carcass out of here.
Yeah, almost ran out of breath on that one.
Well, 300? Okay. But give me your finest room then.
I'll just go mug somebody.
The finest room. Yeah, right. You got it, buckaroo. Best in the house.
That wheezing laugh.
Coming right up. Pay up, and we're in business.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just, like I said, I'll just be on my way. Probably gonna go amongst... Actually, let's just turn up the speed. The walking speed is dreadfully slow in this game, so we'll just crank it up to, let's say, 91. 91 sounds good. Look at him. Yeah. Yip away. That didn't actually do squat, did it? Ooh, a photo booth. I do believe we are actually carrying one Buckazoid around, so we might as well get this puzzle out of the way. Let's just have a quick look at it.
It's one of those new Kodrak mobile photo booths. I heard they were beta testing those.
Yeah, I just clicked the hand icon on it for the hell of it, because...
It's unmoved by your touch.
Oh, well. Just wanted to see if you can get into it without paying. Actually, this is one of my favorite visual gags in the entire series. Especially, I love the... when it happens, just watch Roger as he just stands motionless watching what occurs here. Let's give it a shot. I have no idea where that dude came from.
And climb on in.
All right, I'm looking pretty good. Fire away.
Wait for it.
There's got to be an optics problem with that machine. I look partially digested.
Oh, what? Hey, hello. I love how he just blankly stands there.
You didn't opt for that second set of prints after all. Guess that guy won't be filing any complaints with the Portable Business Association.
Now that just hits home. That is fucking knocking my screen over and everything. That's what I'm talking about. That's good Space Questy humor in it. Before we go anywhere else, let's just check implants and stuff.
Now there's an interesting sounding business name. You wonder what they sell?
Probably implants and stuff. Because, of course, it's the 6th game. Let's do some... throwbacking. Lobe piercing.
Yikes! Can it be? Why, yes it is. It's Fester Blatz.
Charming as always.
Proprietor of Fester's World of Wonders, a cheesy little tourist trap on the desert planetoid of Fleabot. The t-shirt looks, and unfortunately smells, like the same one he wore on Fleabot. He has the expression of someone enjoying a permanent wedgie.
Also, he seems to be
has
hungry.
Aged somewhat. Looks like he's grown a few more neck rings. These last few years have been rough on him. From what you remember of him, he used to be kind of an aqua blue. Now he looks like a used lug liner, or the color of a Varillian miner's loogie.
A lug liner? Pretty sure it said lung, but okay. So, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Alright, we can go with that as well.
Howdy, stranger. The name's Blatz. Fester Blatz. Welcome to Implants and Stuff. Go ahead. Have a look around at some of the most interesting replacement body components this lovely planetoid has to offer.
Now, did you actually expect him to have that voice? I sure didn't.
Oh, a nice fresh sales pitch.
Roger is completely unmoved by the whole thing. Let's actually have a look around. That is just the greatest sound effect ever.
Wow, an Apple II Plus running biorhythms. You thought IBM had rounded all those up and landfilled them decades ago, back when Apple started the push to open home computing to the public, making it fun and accessible.
This is back when we weren't actually talking... Well, we were talking Microsoft, but mostly DOS. This game has a Windows 95 version. Actually, I think it might be a Windows 3.1 version, actually. So, Windows was just about to come out. I mean, again, this game came out in 1995, so Windows 95 was around the corner, but no one really ran games in Windows unless they had souped-up computers and were kind of masochistic about it. In fact, I remember when Windows 95 came out, my entire games collection was rendered fucking obsolete because that fucking thing, you had to reboot it in DOS and it ran out of base mem. Oh my god. 95, 96, and 97 were just an asshole time to be a gamer, really. Also, my friend Brian might be interested in screen capping this little sign here. Just saying. Hi, Brian. Hi, Demodulated. That looks fresh.
This one's labeled fresh. By the looks of things around here, fresh is a very relative term.
The whole lobe piercing. Oh, you're such a charmer, dude.
Yeah, this is the only place on the planet to get a good lobe piercing, I tell ya. And even though we don't have to, we do use only Lorshan quality body part piercing products. Less chance of pus buildup and drainage that way. That stuff tends to dull the erythrium coating on the hardware.
Lorshan quality body. Oh, God. Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Lorshan, a reference to Lorelei Shannon, who ended up designing Phantasmagoria 2. She is of the Gothic variety and has a number of piercings, and Scott Murphy is very good friends with Lorelei. He actually introduced me to Lorelei, who is fantastic good fun and has a great sense of humor. At least I happen to think so. I never noticed that reference until... I mean, I've heard that line a million times, but I never realized who it was referencing until now. So, hey, you learn something new every day. Alright, we've got an arcade and we've got a bar. Oh, God. You know what? I mean, we could really use a drink, I guess. Okay. There you go.
A gleaming alloy air car shoots toward you, but then rushes on by.
That was just, you know, my butt even clenched at that time. It was just like, yeah. Whenever I played this as a kid, it was just like, okay, that thing is rushing by. Let's try and click every icon we've got on it. And it only has a look description, but at least I think so. When it flies by again, I'll try using the hand icon on it. See what's going on. Hello. Eczema beer.
Once again, Vice is a bit more profitable than most business ventures.
Really?
This place is almost too hip for the planet. But then, that's no mean feat, given what a total heap this place appears to be.
Is that Sigourney Weaver?
So this is where Sinead O'Connor's been hanging out.
Oh, her too. Oh, the game is moving at a crawl. I intentionally didn't turn up the cycles in DOSBox very high, because if the game is running too fast, there's actually a good chance that the whole game craps out on you. But I think I've just figured out why the FMVs were playing at a low resolution. I probably should turn the cycles up a bit, because it's also supposed to scroll, but the game has apparently figured that the emulation is way too slow. So here. Oh, hello. So we'll just take that as it comes. Yeah, this is much. Oh, whoa, shit! Roger suddenly picked up some steam there. Maybe we ought to turn that down just a tad, so you can go upstairs. Eh? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Oh, the waitress just fucked off. God damn it. This guy.
This guy looks like he just got back from Cybernam.
Cyber being a fresh, interesting new word around the time of this game. Oh, look at these guys.
These nitro suckers come in all types. They're all drawing on the hoses. Amazingly, they don't freeze. They just glaze over for a few moments while the others laugh.
They're sucking nitrogen. Also, if you thought the whole thing with
the tattoo which says "I love Lula."
Very easy. The whole thing with the waitress becomes interesting now because I can bugger.
Hey, buddy, get your paws out of my tips, or I'll liberate your favorite organ. I'll even let you choose. Or you can leave my tips alone, and you won't have to worry about that decision. It's up to you.
Suddenly her voice changed in the last line. You can pilfer some buckasoids off the waitress.
You snag a buckasoid off the waitron. How cool you are.
That's not very cool, actually. It doesn't really bring us any closer to 100. However, we do need some liquid nitrogen.
These nitro suckers come in all types. They're all drawing on the hoses. This one has...
Yeah, we heard that. So, if we pretend to be...
You quite cleverly paste your picture over the old one on the ID card.
Because this is a security dude. Now, all of a sudden, I'm the security dude.
And see what we can see, okay?
That's one of the random messages.
Let's look at it together. It looks vaguely like your hiney after it's been chewed out by your boss.
So they didn't write a unique look description for this. But there's a good chance they did, and it's just hiding in the resource files and never got used. So we'll find out when we go through that. Actually, I don't know if we'll find out if this particular item does have one. But anyway, fuck off, guys.
You hear them say, geez, our skimmer's double hovered. We gotta run.
I want one of those. I want one of those that you could just beam me instantly into the bar and then, boom, drink in front of you. There we go. I also want the sassy robot waitress. Quite like her. Anyway.
It's too humiliating.
I don't want to sit down, goddammit. Just take the fucking hoses.
Never know when you're going to meet that special lady.
Sure thing. Anyway, it occurs to me I'm actually solving these puzzles kind of out of order. Would you move? The waitress was actually in the way, even though it didn't look like it. I just realized we haven't actually been giving the, yeah, that restroom line's not going anywhere. We haven't actually been given the mission we're supposed to be solving here. We might want to go and... The fuck is this thing?
The guy looks like he could really use a visit to Supercuts. If the thought of how he might look underneath didn't cause you to involuntarily retch, you might even have paid.
Oh, he does like to look through the trash, doesn't he? We need to find a person who's just roaming along these back streets. And... I think he's actually... No, there he is. I was just going to say, I think he's actually triggered by something else, and I just went ahead of him. Hello.
Hey.
I wonder if you... Nah, what was I thinking?
I don't know what you're thinking, but here comes another great puzzle. You're supposed to talk to him again.
He's too far away or doesn't care.
And you have to actually get up in his grill, too. Oh, fuck! I missed it. Oh, goddammit. And he fucked off as well. Oh, you piece of shit. Ah, here he comes. Here he comes. Don't you fucking walk away from me. Dude, I will get in your face.
Buddy, maybe you can help me out. I'm trying to track down this Ender Droid. I'm an Ender Droid runner. I know it don't look so hot, but I'm in disguise, you know?
It's a fancy coat, though.
In disguise? Yeah, you do look disguised. I just don't know what like. Hey, here's a tip.
Roger got
Think
sassy.
seriously about a flea dip.
This is like a really weird choice of words for it.
Getting this one. I've had a hell of a time tracking him down.
I have no idea why the audio just did that.
Help me. Tell you what. If you can find and immobilize this bionic beer opener, it's worth 50 buckazoids to you. What do you say to that? I've scoured this dung heap.
Oh, it's cleared up.
Synthetic hide nor hair of him. All that's left to check is that bar. I'd go in there myself, you see, but I've had a little misunderstanding with the management. No biggie. I'm sure it'll blow over soon.
I'll bet he got drunk and tried to hump the bar.
Can you help me out? What do you say?
Or cut to the front line of the restroom queue.
If you don't mind me saying it, you look like you
50 buckazoids?
So how about it?
All right.
Well, I don't know.
300,
What's this
but...
Endodroid thing look like? And why do you want it?
And why are you asking that question?
Well, he's about your height, only maybe a few inches higher. And I'd say about your weight, give or take 60 pounds or so. But then that's just probably because of that stuff he's made of. Kind of a liquid metal thing, but that's not important.
Oh, no, not important
at
all.
He's got a crew cut, and I think he was wearing a long, dark coat. Has a strange accent.
Well, he should be instantly recognizable.
But why do you want him?
Oh, he made some people mad.
How?
Oh,
the
fucking dialogue.
He sort of jumped out of his program and kind of killed and/or mangled a score or so of co-workers and, more importantly, management personnel. A big no-no.
I like this guy's voice, by the way.
No big deal. I just gotta take him in for analysis and processing. It could help pull me out of my unfortunate cash flow situation. And most importantly, it can mean 50 buckazoids for you. What do you say?
I say...
Well, I could use the buckazoids.
I don't even get to choose.
I'll see what I can do.
Hell yeah. Now we've got our mission.
Great. You won't regret it.
Yes, you will.
You're gonna need this data quarter. It's been modified to only be sensitive to certain unique components like droidium, something only an Ender Droid would be composed of. This will help you root him out. Good luck. Let me know when you've got him.
Sure thing.
Thanks. I gotta go check in with the home office.
I'll check back out here a little later to see how you're coming along.
Well, we've got our mission, and it would appear that our time is almost up, so let's just groove out to this rockin' music, and, you know what? We'll see you next Tuesday. We're gonna hunt down some endodroiding. I don't know what the endodroids do, but I think they would endodroid, the verb endodroiding. Yes? Nice save, huh? Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching the Space Quest 6 playthrough. We're off to a swell start. Please, like, subscribe, do whatever you kids do. Do leave me a comment, because I truly love the comments. So, hey, do it, please. Otherwise, how about a flea dip? Seriously, Roger, where do you get off with all that sass? It's so unbecoming of you. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday. And until then, around the Chrono Stream.